got Greg Kirkley, Tyler Kasak, and Kale. So, questions? Anyone, or are we short here? Oh, not good.
Kale, it's been 5 years since you guys have lost a goal, obviously in an environment like this too. Do you ever take a step back to kind of take in everything built to this point and your coaching staff and team built to this point?
No, we don't think about that stuff. I mean, we're just trying to we think about our next match and get better and just doing what we do. I mean, maybe at some point you do, but that's not something. I mean, we don't really worry about that stuff. You know, this team's not worried about anything that happened in previous years, right? They're just doing what they do and just competing hard, and they wrestle pretty dang good. You know, that's a really good team. We saw it tonight, so proud of them.
Ken, was this a match where just your team just kept applying the pressure? You know, moving forward on the offense all the time. Just pretty much what you want to see against the Iowa team.
I think so. I think you got to go back and kind of think through the matches. But yeah, I think for the most part, I mean, that's just our style. And we're going to move forward, and we're looking to score points, right? And I think very few exceptions. That's just kind of the case. So, but yeah, I think we have a lot of little things we can work on, and I think I say it every year, but I mean, Iowa does a really good job of kind of figuring you guys out and scouting them. So they always you can always go back and kind of see what you can do better, because they're usually very prepared for the matches. So they do a really good job with that stuff. So we can kind of go back and watch these matches and pick up some things we can do better.
This one's for Tyler. Can you just walk us through that moment, the final seconds of your match, hyping up the crowd, the fist pump before the match is even finished, and also just kind of wrestling through the adversity, the blood timeout and everything?
Yeah, I mean, the blood time, that's just what happens in wrestling. Things happen. So I wasn't too really worried about that. But I mean, as far as the celebration and that stuff, I mean, I kind of just blacked out. I have no idea what I really did. Just enjoying the moment, and grateful for the opportunities to go wrestle a team like Iowa. I mean, they're probably my favorite team to wrestle, just because I just like wrestling.
Kale, go ahead, sorry. What went into the decision for Braden not to wrestle tonight? Was that injury related or something else?
Yeah, just a little banged up from a week ago. So, Kurt's, he's a little undersized, obviously, but he's got a huge heart and he's a great wrestler, and he wanted that shot, so we gave it to him. Obviously, that was a tall order, with Ayala. He's obviously really good, and but. Yeah, Davis was just a little banged up from last week, so we figured it would be in his best interest to kind of let him rest a little bit.
Kale, Coach Brands was displeased that your guys scored first in many of the matches and scored late in most of the matches. Were you pleased with the fight and the effort that carried all the way through to the end?
Yeah, I think our guys wrestled well. I mean, I think we have a couple of situations that we can really learn from and make some improvements. But overall, our guys are consistent. I mean, they like to compete, and it's kind of the first question is that's just kind of how we wrestle. We're going to move forward and try to create angles and score points, and people know that's what we're going to do, and so that makes it kind of more fun and a challenge to continue to be able to do that.
Sorry, I was looking over at Nate, sorry. Tyler, when you're bleeding in a match, what kind of adjustments do you have to make?
Nothing really. I mean, just all wrestling at the end of the day. I mean, kind of take your emotions out of it, especially when I don't know how many people were there, so the adrenaline kind of gets pumping. I didn't even really know how bad or what it really looked like. I just knew there was a little bit of blood. So, it's just part of the sport, and, I kind of like it. It's fun, makes you feel alive a little bit.
It's not his eyebrow. A lot of those are stitches. So, yeah, it was pretty bad. Tough dude.
Greg, I know you guys, being towards the tail end, you get to see probably a match of Tyler's, and to see him black out, as he says, doesn't remember what he did. What's that do for you as a teammate to see that type of response in a win like that?
It doesn't quite do anything for me. I know that doesn't sound great, but I know all 10 guys, all 9 guys, including me, are gonna do their job and take care of business. So it's part of what's great about being on this team is you don't have to worry about those guys.
Kale, just your thoughts on Shane Van Ness's effort tonight. That was a big match. I mean, he took control there with a big move. Just what you see there, and what do you think it says about him? I know he had a loss earlier in the season. How do you think he's bounced back?
Yeah, I thought Shane wrestled great. Right, he went out and got that first takedown, and gave up a takedown back, and like, hey, this is a great match. I mean, you got 2 of the best guys in the country scrapping, and then Shane just kept kind of pushing forward as has been described, and was just kind of fought through it and looked great. So yeah, I was really happy with Shane. I mean, he's wrestling really well.
Another question for Tyler. What kind of help did Levi Haynes give you? Because he's wrestled Ja'Cory Teamer before when the stakes were the highest in the NCAA championship. So how did he help you, being that he wrestled him as a former opponent?
I mean, honestly, he didn't really tell me anything. He just told me to go smash him. And, I think I did a pretty good job of that. And, I mean, we really don't game plan for guys like that. I feel like, I mean, kind of just take one step at a time, just try and focus on right now. There's not really like a focus on guys in the future, or I just worry about getting better and having fun.
For Greg or Tyler, what was it like hearing the roar of the crowd and wrestling in front of the packed out BJC?
Sick.
It was cool.
Greg, go ahead.
Oh, it was cool. It was cool.
Tyler, anything more than that?
Sick. That's all I got for you.
Kale, for years now, we've heard you talk a lot about not focusing on wins and losses or the outcomes, but more improvement in the process. Is that a mentality that you had when you were young? What sort of influences have you had in your life that made you adopt that? Is it something you used during your competitive career?
Yeah, I think all of my coaches, my father was my coach growing up, and my high school coach, and it was never about winning or losing. It was about fighting, right? I mean, you don't have to tell somebody you want to win. I mean, everybody wants to win. And my coach Bobby Douglas, same thing. We never talked about winning. It was just getting better and wrestling and doing what you do. So I just was fortunate to come up with some great coaches and some great men, and it always worked for me. And different things, little different tweaks and spins on the the approach, but yeah, I mean, there's a higher standard than winning and losing, right? And that's a pretty low standard. I mean, we can it's more performance, and our effort and our attitude is always going to be a higher standard than win or lose.
This is for everybody. Do you guys believe in making statements? I mean, can you make a statement as a wrestling team in a dual match like this?
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, I feel like we kind of already knew, or I felt like this team was pretty special, and so I think when you go against the #2 team in the country and you kind of handle them pretty well, I felt like, as far as not even a scoreboard, but as far as the effort and just attitude, I felt like, I mean, everyone was pumped up, and I mean, everyone was just having fun. I mean, I feel like the bigger the matches, the more fun we end up having. And the more free I feel like I get, and I feel like if I feed off that with the guys on the team.
All you.
I don't think so. Just because, I mean, each time you wrestle somebody, the next day it's a new day, new person, new team. Nothing really transfers over. So, I mean, I just think you try to keep making the same statement week in and week out. I don't know if it carries on though.
Do I have to answer that question also? It's a good job.
I mean, yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, we just we're just trying to be at our best in the big moments, right? I mean, that's a statement that is just of consistency. I mean, consistency is kind of the name of the game. But as coaches, I'm sure as wrestlers, you're always thinking about the next one and the next one and the next one, right? I mean, and not even just the next match. You're thinking about next year and the next year, you know, we're gonna see the same team a couple more times, so it's just, you're always, yeah, you enjoy it, you have fun with what you're doing, but it's more fun to kind of just be challenging yourself to try to get better all the time, right?
We good? Anybody else have one? You got one more. Thank you.
Coach, what were your thoughts on Iowa's strategy to wrestle Angelo Ferrari as opposed to the regular starter and Gabe Arnold?
I don't think that was really a surprise. We kind of figured that might be the case, just based on stuff that had happened and things that were said, right? I mean, but yeah, I think Carter's, you know, he would have been ready for, you know, either opponent. Obviously, they have two great options there. They're both really good wrestlers. So.
Okay. All right, folks. Thank you.